We have arrived at the postseason. It is time to dive into the NLDS against the Washington Nationals. But before we do that, we do need to mention that the Tampa Bay Rays have beaten the Detroit Tigers in the American League wildcard game. So the Detroit Tigers have been
denied.
And then on the National League side of things, the Los Angeles Dodgers came out on top over the Cincinnati Reds in the wildcard game, so fade the Reds. And now, let's dive into Game 1. Derek Rodriguez taking on Steven Strasburg. Diving right into the quick manage, we're starting things off. Nothing going on pretty much early in the game. We're just simming along, everything's going fine, it's nothing. Then it's second and third, now it's bases juiced for Brandon Belt, 2 outs, and D-Rod gets out of the jam. We're just moving along once again until we get to the the top of the fourth, I should say, where Narvaez doubles, Martinez strikes out, and then Keyboom drives him in. It's now a 1-0 lead for the Nationals. Then he gets out of the inning, the top of the fourth, move on to the bottom of the fourth. Baez triples, Altair, then hits a sac fly, ties the game at 1. And we just sim along until the top of the 5th inning, where D-Rod gives up a triple to Matt Duffy. And then he intentionally walks Juan Soto, so it's runners on the corners, nobody out. A new pitcher comes in, Tanner Scott enters the game. Runners on the corners for Brandon Belt, nobody out. He draws himself a walk, so it's bases loaded for Omar Narvaez. And he drives in 2 runs, 3-1 Nationals is the score, first and second. 1 out now, first and second, after the runner was gunned down at the plate. So 3-1, we're moving along quickly in the game. Another pitching change happens. Now in the top of the 7th inning, it's Brandon Belt at the plate. Jason Tupman pitching, gives up a double. Then Narvaez comes up, and he drives in Belt. It's now a 4-1 game. Trejo then comes in for Tupman, and he is going to give up an RBI single. It's a 5-1 game now. And we're just moving along to the end of the game, as Steven Strasburg ended up pitching all 9 innings in this game. He had himself a complete game, only gave up 1 run, 5-1 win for the Nationals in Game 1. So moving along to Game 2, it is Robbie Ray, the lefty for the Giants, taking on Patrick Corbin, the lefty for the Nationals. So diving into the sim, Robbie Ray on the hill, Trey Turner singles to start the game, then he goes and swipes second base, Duffy then strikes out, and then Juan Soto hits an RBI double, makes it a 1-0 lead. And now we're simming along to later on in the game. As we move things into the top of the 3rd, it's bases loaded for Jose Martinez of the Nationals, nobody out. Robbie Ray gives up a sac fly, makes it a 2-0 game for the Nationals. And now we're moving along to the bottom half of the 3rd. Runner on first, and Stuart Fairchild hits a 2-run home run to tie up the game. He continues his breakout season. So it's 2-2. We're moving along. It's top of the 5th now. Jay Groom comes into the game, gives up a single, another single, and a 3rd single. So it's bases loaded for Carter Keyboom. And Tanner Scott's going to come in the game, and we're going to hop into this action. So like I said, Carter Keyboom at the plate, bases loaded, nobody out. Tanner Scott on the mound, 2-2 count, gets a ground ball to third base. They go home with it. Bart goes to first. It's a double play. 2 down, second and third. Tanner Scott 1 out from getting out of the jam. Omar Narvaez, the lefty hitting catcher, comes to the plate and he whiffs through a slider. Tanner Scott gets the job done, gets out of the bases loaded jam, keeps the game tied at 2. As now we pick things back up in the quick managing, things are going along fast. Nothing going on, it's still 2-2. Tanner Scott still on the mound. Runner on first is Soto. Martinez at the plate. Trejo comes in to face the right-hander. Usually dominant against righties, but he gives up a double against Martinez. So it's a 3-2 game now. And we move things on to the 7th inning, where it's now runners on the corners. Baez on first, Ordonez on third, and Justin Turner's at the plate, so we're going to hop into the game. Justin Turner, 1 for 3 on the day, comes up in a big spot. Down 1, runners on the corners, gets a pitch to hit, and he's going to pop this one up the left center field. Nothing going for Turner. It's still 3-2. We jump back into the sim, as we're just going to be cruising along here. Iglesias gets through the 8th inning, then the 9th inning against Maranta gets through that, and we're on to the bottom of the 9th where we're going to jump back in and try to tie this baby up. Nationals bring on their closer, Wander Suero, looking for the save in this one. First batter he's facing is Tetsuto Yamada, is going to bloop one into right field. That's going to land in for a hit somehow, and he's going to be able to turn it into a double as he never stopped running hard the whole way. So he's in scoring position right off the bat. Gilberto Fuentes comes on to pinch hit. Full count on him. Gets a pitch to hit, pops it up to center field. It's not going to be deep enough to tag up Yamada. Taylor also has a strong arm out there in center, so Yamada's still on second base now, 1 out. Ramos then goes down looking on a generous strike 3 call. He'll take the walk of shame back to the dugout. So 2 down, runner on second. It's Javi Baez. The big free agent acquisition for this team comes up in a huge spot. Has to swing at the 2-strike pitch that's in the zone, chops it back to the pitcher, Suero. And the Giants fall in the first 2 games in this series. This game they lose 3-2. They have their backs against the wall as they are now going to DC to take on the Nationals in the upcoming Game 3, trying to stay alive in the NLDS. The series now moves to DC as the Giants and Nationals battle it out here for Game 3. The Nationals took the first 2 games in the Bay Area, and the Giants have their backs against the wall. Nationals sending out their longtime ace in Mad Max. Max Scherzer getting the start for them. He'll get opposed by the lefty Tyler Skaggs, making his first postseason start for the Giants. And we'll look at the Giants lineup 1-2-9. Lorenzo Ordonez leading things off in this game, while the Nationals lineup, there you have it. Start things off top 1, Ordonez. He checks his swing. Ump says he did not go around, so he'll take his base. And he's got some fleet feet, so he's going to try to get himself in a scoring position, but he gets a very poor jump, and he is gunned down by Narvaez's throw, so he is no longer on the bases, and then Pederson draws himself a walk. So it's runner on first yet again, now 2 outs after Baez strikes out, and Aaron Altair, bada bing, bada boom, getting this one off early for the Giants, a 2-0 lead for San Francisco. We move things on to the bottom of the first. Trey Turner hits a ground ball into the hole. Baez from the outfield grass makes a beautiful play to get the very fast Trey Turner, and then the inning would come to an end as Soto hits a ground ball to first base. Turner keeps it in front of him, tosses the covering Skaggs. On to the bottom of the 4th now. Duffy hits a ground ball to Travis, makes a nice scoop, chucks across the infield, and then for the 3rd out, it would be Soto hitting a ground ball to Javi Baez at shortstop. So still a 2-0 game. On to the bottom of the 5th, where Brandon Belt is going to belt one off that right center field wall. It's going to be an easy 2-bagger for the former Giant against his former team. And then Jose Martinez comes up, last season's batting title winner, hits a ball down the left field line. Belt's going to score easily from second base. There's an RBI single for Jose Martinez. So with a runner on first and nobody out, brings up Carter Kieboom, the Rookie of the Year in the 2022 season. And he hits a single, so it's first and second, brings up the pinch hitter Chris Owings as Mad Max's day will come to an end. And he gets a hanging curveball that he does not miss. Bam! A 3-run shot, 4 runs in the inning for the Nationals, and Chris Owings puts his team on top 4-2 as Skaggs blows the lead he had. Joe Ross comes on for the Nationals, and he would give up a bloop single from Baez as it just barely lands in, perfectly placed off the bat of Baez. After that, it brings up Aaron Altair, who's going to go up the middle with a base knock, so back-to-back singles for the Giants. Baez thought about going to third, but he held up. So it's first and second. Turner then pokes one through the right side of the infield, so it's 3 straight singles now for the Giants. Brings up Peter Mooney, 2-1 count, hits a line drive into center field. It's going to be deep enough to tag up Baez on third base, makes it a 4-3 game. So runners on first and second, 1 out. Joey Bart, first pitch swinging, grounds out to shortstop, 6-4-3, double play. It's still a 4-3 game. Ross escapes that inning with the lead. And now on to the top of the 7th, where Devin Travis goes opposite way into right field for a single. Gilberto Fuentes then comes on to pinch hit. and he is going to hit a ball over the head of Turner at shortstop. That's going to get into the left center field gap. It's a slow roller. Travis didn't know if it was going to get over the head of Turner, though, so he's only able to get to third base. Second and third, nobody out. Ordonez then hits a ground ball to second. Run does come in. It's a tie game now, and then who else but Joc Pederson comes to the plate and hits a ball oppo. This one sent out to left center field. That's in the bullpen. A 2-run shot off the bat of Joc Pederson, and now it's a 6-4 lead for the Giants. The Giants would tack on one more thanks to a sac fly in the 9th, and now on the bottom of the 9th, Reyes Maranta comes on, looking for the save, strikes out Martinez for out number 1. After that, it's the Rookie of the Year, Kieboom, also goes down on the slider, and then you guessed it, Robles. He's also going down on the slider as Reyes Maranta, I should say, strikes out the side. The Giants live to fight another day as they beat the Nationals here in Game 3 by a score of 7-4 here in D.C. Aaron Altair gets Player of the Game honors. He got the Giants off on the right foot in the first inning with a 2-run shot, while Joc Pederson put them out in front yet again later on in the game after tying it back up in the 7th inning. And now we move on to Game 4, Giants and Nationals here in D.C. Nats send out their 4th game starter in Erasmo Ramirez, and he'll be opposed by the Korean left-hander Hyun-Jin Ryu, making his first start of the postseason. Take a look at the Giants lineup on the day. Peter Mooney has been moved up to the leadoff spot, and then, of course, the Nationals lineup as well. We'll start things off bottom half of the first inning. It's Trey Turner laying down a drag bunt on the 3rd pitch of the game, and then Justin Turner could not handle it on the hot corner, so it's going to be an infield single for Trey Turner, and then Juan Soto showing why he is dangerous. Hits an absolute bomb into the right center field seats, and the Nationals are going to be the one getting off to a 2-0 lead early in this one, as then Ryu would settle down as he would strike out the former Giant Brandon Belt, and then Jose Martinez gets sawed off. The bat goes flying. Ryu makes the play himself as he tags the runner on the base paths. We move things along to the top of the 4th, where Aaron Altair is going to rip one into the left center field gap. That's going to get down off the wall. He's got some fleet feet, so he's got an easy double. In scoring position, brings up Justin Turner, hits a ball into left center field. Didn't know if it was going to land, so Altair is only able to move up one base. So it's runners on the corners, one out for Gilberto Fuentes, who hits a ball to deep right center field, but it's not going to get down. It will be enough to tag up the runner, as it's now a 2-1 ball game as we move on to the bottom of the 5th, where Michael Taylor comes to the plate, hits a line drive right at Peter Mooney, hits off his head. He recovers the fire over to first, but he would have to come out of the game. Luckily, it wasn't a concussion, so it wasn't serious, but he did have to come out, so Tetsuro Yamada enters the game at second base. And then they would get out of the inning as Erasmo Ramirez, the opposing pitcher, just whiffs through a fastball. Bottom of the 7th now, Brandon Belt absolutely belts one into the right center field seats. A no-doubt shot for the Nationals. It's now a 3-1 lead for them. They're back to having a 2-run lead. Steve Cishek coming on to protect that 2-run lead in the top half of the 8th. Lorenzo Ordonez coming on to pinch hit for the Giants with 1 out. And he would have a 0-2 count, but he gets bailed out by getting plunked on the buttocks. So he's on first base, tries to get into scoring position like he did earlier in the series, and it doesn't work this time either. So 2 down, and then Yamada on the very next pitch hits a high fly ball out to left field. That's into the seats. If Ordonez was still on base, that would have tied the game, but instead, it's only a 3-2 game. Nats still in the lead, but then Joc Pederson comes up, and of course, he hits an absolute moonshot a long way to right field for his 2nd home run of the postseason. Take another look at this one. Joc Pederson, 111.3 miles an hour off the bat, sends it into the upper deck in right field. Looked like it was farther, but it was only 429 feet. So it's now a tie ball game. Should possibly be a lead if Ordonez didn't get caught stealing, but it's a tie game. Maranta comes on in the bottom of the 9th, trying to keep it that way and force extra innings, and he does just that by striking out Kieboom and the pinch hitter Chris Owings. So it's a 3-3 game. We go on to extras. Javi Baez on in the top of the 11th. And the first pitch he sees in the AB is cranked into left field. That baby is gone. A long home run for Javi Baez, and it's now a 4-3 lead in this one for the Giants. So Jason Tutman enters the game in the bottom half of the frame, looking to close this one out. 1 out, it's Victor Robles at the plate. Hits a line drive that's going to hit off the top of the left field wall. That's going to be an easy double for the fleet-footed Robles. And then Jose Martinez up with 2 outs, down to their final strike. And Martinez delivers, gets a pitch on the hands, a great pitch, but somehow Martinez handles it, hits it down the line. That's going to be an RBI single. So we're back to being tied, and there's going to be more innings. Top of the 12th, Jose Leclerc comes on. First batter up. First pitch is going to be ripped back up the middle by Joey Bart. The catcher has himself a single. After that, Ramos takes a pitch off the knee. Somehow doesn't really affect him, so he takes his base. So first and second, Stuart Fairchild comes on to pinch hit. It's not a lefty, but he comes on nonetheless, gets ahead in the count, and Stuart Fairchild continues his breakout season here in 2022, sends a pitch into the left field bullpen. That is a 3-run shot off the bat of Fairchild, and it's a 7-4 ball game. But wait, there's more. Trevor Rosenthal comes on. Tetsudo Yamada hits a ball down the right field line, hits off a little jut in the wall, so it's only going to be a single as that bounced right to Martinez. So Yamada on first base, and then Joc Pederson. Of course he goes yard twice in this game. A 2-run shot off the bat of Joc, his 3rd of the postseason, 2nd of the game. It's now a 9-4 game, and Jeremy Hellickson comes on, making Jeremy's look bad. A 3-1 count, Altair a line drive homer into that bullpen, which is ever so popular in this game. It's now a 10-4 game. And then, of course, in the bottom of the 12th, the Giants do close it out. Jay Groom gets the strikeout, and the Giants have successfully forced a Game 5 as the series is heading back to the Bay Area as the Giants win this game 10-4 over the Nationals here in Game 4. A huge game for who else but Joc Pederson. 2 hits on the day, both of those being home runs. Altair homered. Fairchild had a big 3-run shot in his pinch hit opportunity. Yamada homered. The offense exploded in this one when they needed it, as the Giants went down early, but that did not affect this team at all. All the rest of the division game series have already been decided, as in the American League, you've got the Angels taking on the Indians for a trip to the World Series, and then on the National League side of things, the Dodgers have come all the way from the wild card game. They have their spot in the championship series booked. They're just waiting to see if they're taking on the Giants or the Nationals, which we will find out here in Game 5. And we are back in the Bay Area. The San Francisco Giants playing host to the Washington Nationals here in Game 5. First 2 games went to the Nats. Next 2 games went to the Giants. They have battled their way back. So Steven Strasburg on the hill for the Nats. He'll be opposed by the Giants ace and Derek Rodriguez. Take a look at the Giants lineup on the day as well. Stuart Fairchild getting the start against a righty, leading things off playing right, and then you have the Nationals lineup as well. Start things off top of the first. A 1-2-3 inning from D-Rod is capped off by this very nice play by Peter Mooney over at second base. So move things on to the first inning, or the bottom of the first inning, where Stuart Fairchild draws a walk to lead this game off, and then Joc Pederson. Don't even tell me you're showing this for a reason, Jersey. Don't tell me he did it. Of course he did it. Of course he did. A 2-run shot absolutely blasted into the right field seats. And the Giants jump off to an early lead in this one. Top of the second now, as Jose Martinez would not go down without a fight. He hits a home run into the left field seats. It's going to be a 2-1 ball game. Lead cut in half. We move things on to the 4th now. Brandon Belt at the dish. He walks against his former team, so he's on first base now with 1 out as Martinez draws a walk. So it's first and second, 2 outs now for Chris Owings, who is going to bloop a ball that just barely lands fair in right field. A run comes in to score. That is Brandon Belt, and we have ourselves a tie game here, but the Giants said, this is our game. Justin Turner, right center field, he's going gapping. The runner is going to score all the way from first base, and Bart has himself an RBI triple as he slides in, avoids the tag. It's a 3-2 game now, Giants back on the top. Tetsuto Yamada ropes one into left. That drives in another run. It's now a 2-run lead. Peter Mooney at the dish now. Yamada then gets thrown out at second base. Might be time to cool it on the stolen base attempts. But then Mooney hits a ball in the air to right center field. Right fielder and center fielder are converging. Somehow neither of them catch it. That's going to roll all the way up against the wall. Mooney stops at third base. And then the next batter up is Joey Bart. He hits a ball into left field that lands in for a single. It's now a 5-2 lead for the Giants. Now we move things on to the bottom of the 6th, where Tetsuto Yamada hits a line drive off Jeremy Hellickson, and that's a line drive home run. A 6-2 game now as Yamada delivers, and we move things on to the bottom of the 7th, where they were still not done. Gilberto Fuentes down the left field line. That's going to drive a runner over to third. He's not stopping there. Joey Bart, the catcher, goes home. He scores. Fuente dives back in a second. He's safe. And then Joc Pederson comes to the plate. First pitch to him gets away from Narvaez. Fuentes moves up to third. And then, of course, Pederson delivers. This one's not going to get out of here, but it does land in and hop up over the wall. A ground rule double makes it an 8-2 lead for San Francisco. They were not done there, though. Aaron Altair hits one into right center, as that's going to land in for a hit, and then Pederson scores. A 9-2 game. They take that lead into the top of the 9th. Moranta gets a ground ball. Yamada jump throw from foul territory. Got him at first, as the Giants have battled their way back from down 0-2 in the series, have won 3 games in a row, 2 in DC, now Game 5 here in San Fran in the Bay Area, as the Giants have booked their trip to the National League Championship Series to face their longtime rival Los Angeles Dodgers in a best-of-7 series to decide who goes on to the World Series. Joc Pederson has had an insane 2022 season, so of course he gets Player of the Game honors. He delivered with a home run and a double in this game. He had 2 home runs in Game 4. He had a home run in Game 3. The man just will not stop delivering. Giants win the game 9-2. They win the series 3-2. And like I said, taking on the Dodgers in the NLCS, which we will see next time. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the San Francisco Giants franchise. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I'm saying, Joc Pederson forever.